The most melt in your mouth biscuits I've ever made is these double cream butter biscuits. So beautiful and tender. Let me show you how I made them. Today we're going to use self-rising flour. I have another biscuit video that uses all-purpose, but we're going to start today with 2.5 cups of self-rising flour to your mixing bowl. And now I'm going to use frozen butter. This is a 1/2 cup total in half sticks, frozen butter. And I'm going to shred this directly into my flour. So I'm going to put my top here on, and I have an attachment to this that goes right in the center there. And I'm going to start shredding my frozen butter directly into my flour. Now, like I said, I have a different biscuit video that uses an entirely different method. So if you're interested in that, that is on my YouTube channel, The Chef and the Baker RVA. Now, here's our butter. I'm going to take this butter knife and I'm going to toss this butter with the flour, being sure to break up any clumps. Now, we want to start adding our heavy cream. We're going to use 2 cups total, but we're going to add it in increments, starting with the first cup. We'll get that mixed in. Then we're going to go back in with another 1/2 cup. And once we get that mixed in, we'll go back in with another 1/2 cup, just to make sure that we're getting all the flour, even the flour at the bottom of the bowl, moistened with this heavy cream. So that's 2 cups total. At this point, you want to go in with your hands. And let's make sure we bring all of this flour together with the heavy cream. Now, on your surface, you want to add some flour to your board, and we're going to add our biscuit dough to this, removing any of the excess flour. And my method of this is actually pressing the dough together as you would pie dough. I'm going to press this dough together and I'm going to pat it out. I'm going to press it together and I'm going to pat it out. And that's how I'm going to bring it together. Now, if you want to use a rolling pin, you can, but I just tend to pat mine out. And so once I get it patted out, I'm going to take my bench scraper and I'm going to fold it over. This is how we're going to start to create our layers. So fold it over, I'm going to pat it out. And then I'm going to fold it over again, and then I'm going to pat it out. And all together, I think I did this about 3 times. And then once I got it patted out, that final time is when we want to get ready to start cutting out our biscuits. Now, I did use a very large biscuit cutter. If you don't have a biscuit cutter, you can use a jar or a cup or an empty can, whatever you have, or you can cut them out in squares. One day I should do a video on that as well. But my biscuit cutter here is just about 3 inches, so it's pretty large. You are more than welcome to use a smaller one. And so once I start getting the first round of biscuits cut out, I'm going to take all of the scrap dough and we're going to bring it together again and continue to cut out more biscuits until we're all done. And once I brought my dough together, I think I got a total of 8 biscuits, or should I say 7 in a possible, because that last one was just these little scraps here, just a little rump biscuit. So we're going to say 7 in a possible. If you were using a smaller biscuit cutter, you probably would have got about 10 or 12 of them. Now, my skillet has been in the oven preheating. The oven is preheated at 450 degrees, and the skillet has been in that oven this entire time while we were making the dough. And I added about 2 tablespoons of butter to that, to the bottom of it, and added my biscuits. Now, to the tops of the biscuits, we're going to add a little bit of heavy cream. This is going to help with the browning of the biscuits on the top. But if you don't want to do this part, you can definitely leave that out and just do butter or what have you. Here is the final result after 15 minutes at 450 degrees. And I want to add some more melted butter to the top of that. And I set my timer for about 5 minutes to let them rest. before I decide to give them a try. So I'm going to go ahead and pour myself a cup of coffee, and I want to give these biscuits a try. They are so tender and fluffy. I am just amazed. Being a person that almost always make buttermilk biscuits, this was my first time trying this with heavy cream and butter, and just look at how tender and fluffy that biscuit is. And I decided to be a little fancy, and I'm going to have myself a little softened butter on my biscuit and a little dipping sauce of maple syrup. That is how I'm going to try my biscuit today. Of course, you could have jelly or honey or what, or just plain. But I had it with a little maple syrup today because I'm a little fancy. And boy, you have got to give this recipe a try.